Okay, let's get on to my topic. I'm going to segue us back from dinosaurs to samurai because it's January, which means that the winter anime season has started, and there is a samurai anime in it. And I've watched the first episode, and I'm happy to report it's quite good, and it seems pretty promising. I'm talking about Dororo, or Dororo for you English people. Dororo is based on a manga series from the 60s by Osamu Tezuka of Astro Boy fame. One of the more, if not the most famous mangaka.
Does look like Astro Boy.
Yeah, he's probably the most famous mangaka of all time. In before, well, I guess his only competition right now is Toriyama and to an extent Oda, but yeah, so it's a, I believe it takes place during the Sengoku era of Japan, like most stuff does. But it's more fantastical version because, you know, you can't just tell the same old story that these kids learn in history class, right? These Japanese kids. It's about a Ronin named Hyakimaru, who was basically this isn't really spoilers because it happens in the first 10 minutes of the show. Oh, by the way, this is I believe this originally had an anime that aired in the 70s or 60s.
1967 was the start of the manga.
Yeah, and
69 was the anime.
Yes, and this is the reboot of it, basically.
2007 was the live action.
Yeah, so it's about Hyakimaru. He is his father Daigo Kagemitsu is a daimyo who basically wants to like rule the world. So he basically asks a shrine of demon Oni statues. There's 48 Oni. If they could take whatever they want from him if they promise to help him conquer the world. And so they basically take all the body parts of his unborn son, and and he rather kind of dark, gruesome scene. His wife gives birth to basically like a bloody skeleton. It like doesn't show anything. She just like gives birth off camera, and then she's holding a baby, and they're like, "Here's your son, my lord." Then like the midwife opens it up, and it's just like a bloody skull, like poking out. And then his wife's like, "We need to keep it." And it's like, okay, it's a skull, lady. So, so he obviously like he's like, well, the demons listen to me. I'm going to get what I want. I'm going to conquer Japan. I'm going to conquer the world. And he takes the baby from his wife. He wants to like keep it, and he's like, "Listen, lady, it's already dead." And she's like, "Well, at least let me hold him till he like actually dies." And he's like, "No, we gotta dump him in the river. Buddha will take care of it."
Side note: his name means little monster.
Oh, it does. That's nice.
There's a lot of cool little things.
So he puts him in the river, and then like a monk basically finds him. Your basic like kid in a river story.
Right.
He grows up and 16 years later as a Ronin is wandering Japan, where he comes across a thief named Dororo, the titular character, and Dororo is in trouble. She stole some stuff from another group of thieves. They're going to try to beat her up. When all of a sudden the thieves get attacked by an Oni, and of course Hyakimaru shows up and fights the Oni, kills it because he is searching for the 48 demons that his father sacrificed him to. If he kills them all, he gets all of his body parts back. And when he kills it, he gets like his skin back. At first he's wearing a mask, and everyone comments that he looks like a doll because he fights with prosthetic. Basically, as prosthetics, he pulls them off and has like swords underneath them. It's very. It reminded me a lot of El Pavar. I was like, this could just take place in Crablands. Some daimyo makes like some dark deal with some Oni, sacrifices his son to them to become the emperor or something.
Except for the prosthetics bit.
Yeah. Unless you go crazy,
Well, it
which
could be like Yoshimitsu style.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, there's a whole group of crab that have lost an arm, and they would probably kill for a prosthetic.
oh yeah,
That's true.
It's just not something that exists, at least.
the Kaiju
in
should
current
develop
one.
those.
Yeah.
There's a character idea. But anyways,
I'm going to tell you right now, it would turn into a hand cannon, a flamethrower or something.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Jade launcher, Jade shotgun, basically.
Kapow!
Yeah, so I'd never heard of it until I watched it yesterday. It's really cool. I'm looking forward to the rest of it. And Meta, you said you've watched the live action movie, so I'm like curious what your thoughts of it are, and like maybe how it like the story setup differs a little bit, because this seems really cool. The style of the anime is very good. I really like the opening for it too, so I'm excited to watch this on a weekly basis. So tell me what your kind of experience with it is.
All right, prepare to be disappointed, Obs. That's all I'm No, actually,
Meta disappointed in samurai things.
I know, right? No, that's not true. I actually did watch Dororo. There was a point where the wife and I were watching different movies, and that was one of the ones we picked up. We actually like our foreign movies a lot. We always like them up, see what they are, and that was one of them. So we watched it together, and I actually thought it was pretty good, all things considered. It is a bit over the top. The live action movie is a bit over the top, and there's definitely some cheesy like effects that go on in it. But man, oh man, if you can just kind of let that go and just understand that this is a bit anime for a live action movie, it's not bad. I am really enjoyed the concept of it. I like this idea of this guy going around and essentially killing off the demons and becoming more human with every victory. What's actually really interesting about it though is that he's kind of immortal because he isn't actually made up of anything. He's just made up of alchemical and fake pieces. So being stabbed and whatnot doesn't really do anything to him. His skin will just his body will just kind of grow back with the alchemy that was utilized or whatever. Or at least that's the way the movie puts it, is that the monk who found him was actually an alchemist as well. So but as he's picking up more pieces, he actually has to end up being more and more careful because now he can actually die. He's got an actual heart
that's
now.
interesting. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, every time he grabs a new piece, he actually becomes more and more mortal, which is kind of funny. He's fighting quite literally for his humanity. It's pretty good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the characters. The thief is very funny. She's a very good foil to the otherwise quiet, stoic character that the titular title character is. And they kind of play off well enough of one each other. That kind of reminds you of like the straight man and the Joker in like a comedy duo. And that's kind of really feels like she's always poking and prodding at things, at least in the movie anyway. She's always kind of like poking and prodding at him, very volatile in nature, which generally requires him to make some sense of response or answer to it, which she of course doesn't like, and will then poke and prod even harder or make exaggerated claims on something, which he really can't say no to because he doesn't have any control over her. But she kind of refuses also to not leave him alone. So I would say you're probably in for. I hope the anime is as good as the movie was for me. I mean, the movie is not Shakespearean by any means.
Yeah.
But I hope the anime is just as good. Probably will potentially even be better because it can tell more of a story. And draw parts. Whereas movies generally got only a running time of.
You got to crunch it in at like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah, whereas an anime, obviously that's nothing. That's like maybe 6 episodes at best. So,
I'm actually glad that the manga had a short runtime, because that means I'm guessing that the 12 episodes is going to cover the entirety of the manga. So we'll get like a complete story, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It was good. It was decent. I would recommend it to anybody who has a chance.
Are the Oni cool that he ends up fighting? And it also talked about he has like a brother too. I'm guessing the brother becomes a major character.
The brother. So again, for this is the live movie, so it may not.
Yeah, it could be different.
It could be different. He does have a brother. They eventually have another son, like his mom and his actual mom and his actual dad have another son. And he is effectively
the true heir.
Yeah, he's the quote unquote true heir and whatnot. They've got like another kid, and they never really tell him about the fact that like, oh, you had a son before you, but we kind of fed his body to demons. Or whatever. Might be an awkward dinner conversation to have. Son, we need to talk.
What?
What? There is that. The demons, there's not like again, I never I never read the original manga or anything. I was just kind of watching the movie, so they had to like cut out what they could. Some of the demons, a lot of them are also very strongly tied to folklore of Japan in and of itself. So you can definitely expect certain staples to possibly show up. But it all depends what they're focused on. In the movie itself, he faces off against a couple of them, but there's only two of them that he truly ends up getting to like big fights with. Otherwise, it's generally kind of just shown that like he goes and like fights a demon. It cuts to a scene him fighting a demon, and then he gets another part, and something grows back, and then he fights another demon, gets another part, goes back to kind of show like a montage effect. But the ones he did fight were really interesting, at least in the movie. I thought they were really cool. They were nice choices to make, and the way that those demons approached him, in the different scenarios that they were placed in was fresh. Like they didn't just do the same thing. It's like, oh no, you found another demon. Let's fight to the death.
Yeah.
They did have different approaches to depending on if they knew it was who he was, or if they didn't know who he was, or so on and so forth. So they did have at least some characteristics to them. They weren't just kind of like your stock villain of the week, like in a Power Ranger or something. So if that will definitely at least keep it fresh, and hopefully they follow that within the anime as well, because then they can definitely make sure that the villains all kind of have their own identity to the problem. Though I'm sure that they'll kind of probably go over some of the demons and just wash through them when they need to.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's doing what it needs to hook me, because I love like supernatural monsters in Japanese mythology. It's got my dark, edgy boy main character who doesn't say the lone wolf who doesn't say a lot and like wants to kind of be left alone. Has like the tragic past.
The lone wolf who immediately teams up with someone else.
Yeah,
the kid with the heart of gold.
The lone wolf that immediately throws his own title away.
That's like every like most Ronin story, like Sword and the Stranger, Lone Wolf and Cub. There's always like the kid with them.
That's because they're not interesting characters by themselves.
You gotta have someone to play off of.
Yeah, you do. That's like storytelling 101. You always have to have somebody to play off of somebody else.
So yeah, this has promise. In a season I didn't really see a lot that I was excited about. I came across this and forgot about it, remembered it the other day, and then watched it and was pleasantly surprised. So,
I'm gonna have to go watch this so I can compare it to the movie.
The animation's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I was seeing some of the previews for it. It looks really clean.
Yeah, and the OP again is a banger. So there you go. As the kids say, it's a banger.
It's a
what
banger,
is it?
bro.
Didn't the Neverland, didn't that get an anime?
The Neverland?
I think that's
Promise
spring.
Neverland?
Promise Neverland. I could be wrong. I thought it was spring. Let's see.
No, the
if it
Promise
is, I'm gonna watch
Neverland
it.
has an English. Let's see here.
It comes out tomorrow. The first episode.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, that I think will be really good.
Yeah. I'll watch that too. Maybe you can talk about that next week.
Dark.
Because I don't think we've ever talked about Promise Neverland.
We-
Other than
I think we briefly
in
touched on
passing.
it.
We've talked about it like tangentially, like every time it comes up.
It's worth
This
talking about eventually because it's a pretty big deal right now.
Yeah.
Cool.
Dark fantasy. Well, I actually have never seen this before, so I might have to check this out.
Promise Neverland's pretty good.
I
I need to catch up
on
with
it.
the manga. Yeah, me and you both has. I literally kind of stopped reading it right after like the first big arc ended.
I got caught up when they. Well, never mind. That's gonna be spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything like past first arc is pretty deep spoiler. So.
Yeah, like I think I finished the first. Like I don't know where exactly you define arc ending, I guess, but I think I finished the first arc. So.
Yeah.
Anywho.
But yeah, so I'm excited to keep watching that, and yeah, samurai stuff. We're back, baby.
We're back. New year.
It's a year of
Time for a
plague
new-
and samurai.
New year, new honor. Let's do it.
Eki Byogami spreads her wings
That's right.
and her plague across the empire. All right, this has been episode 73 of Podcast of Five Rings, your source for enlightenment in the realm of video games, tabletop, anime, film, and tech. Each episode of Podcast of Five Rings releases Monday mornings on iTunes and SoundCloud, and Talk About Topic day by day on YouTube, with the full video releasing on Friday. Check us out on Twitter, Podcast5R, Facebook P5R Podcast, Meta and Lily stream at twitch.tv/PSOFlow. What y'all been playing lately?
Actually, I've been
I know y'all been sick, so you probably hadn't really been streaming.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's been really hard to put out because I've been sick and whatnot. And then Lily got sick from me because after marrying her, I like to share everything that I have. So
exactly.
So I got her sick. But recently, we just ended up playing a bit more of Parasite Eve because apparently there is, I think, potential for a Parasite Eve reboot or potentially like a new variant of the game. I don't know. I have to look it up again. But kind of like, well, this is true. We should play it through all the Parasite Eves then, so we can get prep for this. And we also want to play another horror game, the new Resident Evil 2 that's coming out. So
I thought you were going to say Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days. The most horrifying game of all time. Oh my god, it's awful.
Wow.
The things you see in that, you can't unsee.
No amount of steel wool.
What is she on? What is she? It haunts me to this day.
Beyond that, I mean, I just recently did World of Final Fantasy. Just yesterday, just Tuesday, in fact, the new patch dropped, and I streamed that effectively all day of the new content. So, yeah, I took the day off. I could not. I had to. They had new Evilise content out, and I was like, well, here we go, back to Final Fantasy Tactics.
I'm going to say Kingdom Hearts 3 day off, I believe.
I wouldn't blame you. So we've been doing that. I plan on potentially streaming actually some Phantasy Star Online because obviously that's part of the name.
That's a comfy game.
I love that game so much. We're probably doing a little more Smash. I was playing some Smash with Lily as well for one of our nights before we switched over to Parasite Eve. Probably do more with that with her if she enjoyed that, and we'll see what the future brings.
All right. Well, until next time, guys. May you be plague free.
Yar.
Or not. Get infected through your ears.
Yeah.
Yar.
You're all sick now.
You sound like a Simpsons character there, man.
I know, right?
Guy. All right. Bye.